and welcome to this week's fibro section in the garden. Well, excuse the state of me, I've just literally clipped my hair up because it is 30 degrees today and it's supposed to be autumn, so you know, it's just, I'm already sweating. I've only just put makeup on and I'm sweating. What's the point? This week, oh, Poppy's hanging the wash down. It just went down a notch, I think. This week I have got a new trusted notepad. Look at that. Look at that. A new trusted notepad. And this week I have photos too, because we're doing all about my weight loss journey. So excuse me for looking at my notepad, but I know it's my weight loss journey. This is not research, this is my weight loss journey, but I've had to write it all down because fibro fog, I'm not going to remember everything to say. I haven't got the memory capacity for that. So it's a bit different because I wanted to take you on my journey for a change instead of talking about what I've researched. And we all know the statistics that they say losing weight will help fibro, but that is easier said than done, isn't it? And it's really frustrating. It's almost as frustrating for some people as hearing people saying you should exercise, but you should. I'm going to be that frustrating person. Let's get on with it. Medications make you gain weight. Not all, but some do. And the one I'm on, that's the reason I can't lose weight. Sitting around more, or maybe if you're in bed bound, you're not burning as many calories as if you were active and up and about. So we have to rest more, we have to sit more, we have to let our body recover more. Therefore we're not burning all those calories. Working out and exercising isn't easy, as we all know. I mean, it's important that we keep moving our body, but it's not easy. Trying to stick to diet plans when you're in pain and fatigued as well is so hard. As I don't know about you, but I've always been a comfort eater. So if I stress or I have something going on, I tend to eat more comfort food like chocolate and things that I shouldn't, because that's what comforts me. So I wish I wasn't a comfort eater, because if I wasn't, then I'd probably be a stick by now. No stress I've had. No, not just you. Life in general. Right, so let's start at the beginning. I was basically a normally built child, you know. I was just the same as any regular child. Never really, excuse me, look, it's just sweat. I thought this was a good idea. You know what, I needed my little black fan. That's what I need. It got to about the age of 8 to 9 years old, and then I gained weight, which my mum called puppy fat, and it really upset me. And I remember my mum always saying, don't worry, when you go up to school, like secondary school, you'll grow taller and lose all the weight. But I was the first girl in primary school that needed a bra, and I always felt really self-conscious of my weight, always. And when I went to secondary school, my mum was right. I shot up, and a lot of that, what she called puppy fat, went with it. So when I was at secondary school, so that's when I was about 11 or 12, I was around a size 10 to 12 UK, I guess, which, you know, is good. I could virtually eat what I wanted, it didn't matter. And at college I was the same size, and I would go with my friends to the chip shop most days, but we walked a lot at college. So that was the age. College was when I was 16. So 16 to 18 I was at college. And yeah, we walked an awful lot because you had to walk off the bus, you had to walk to college, you had to walk to town to get your chips at lunchtime. Defeating the object. When I moved in with Mark, we were 18, and I was still a UK size 10 to 12. I would fluctuate between the two. And I thought at this point I'll show you some photos of me before I had children. So this one was when we were on holiday together somewhere. If you can hear a noise in the background, that's my fan, I'm afraid, because I'm too hot. So we must have been, I don't know, 19, 20, something like that. Here, look at Mark's face. But yeah, that's how I looked then. One where I had my hair cut really short, and I'll have to blur out the face of my sister because she doesn't want to be on YouTube. But yeah, you can see just about my figure. That's when I was about a size 10 to 12, so you know, quite a nice slim. Again, here I am with my mum, and I was about the same size then. I think they're all similar ages. I think, I know I've got my hair cut short in one of them, but they're all around, you know. And then this was when I was a bridesmaid to my sister, so you can see my figure from that photo there. So I was never really overweight, or, you know, ever since I left primary school and went to secondary school, I was sort of this, you know, this normal slim size. Okay, so that was then. When I was pregnant with Holly, I gained 4 stone. 4 stone in weight. I lost 2 stone just by having her, but then the other 2 stone hung around, and it didn't feel right for me, because you know, I'd always been that size, UK 10 to 12, and it wasn't normal. I mean, I knew I'd put on so much weight having Holly, so I went to Slimming World and I lost that 2 stone and more, and I ended up definitely a UK size 10, maybe even smaller. And I think I was the smallest I was ever been, about 9.5 stone, 9 stone, something like that. And I'm height wise, then I've shrunk since but then I was about 5'6", 5'7". Sorry? Oh, shut up. Bobby just said you definitely shrunk. Now I'm between 5'5" and 5'6", I think. So anyway, then I was between 5'6" and 5'7". So yeah, that was probably the lowest weight I should have been, really. And then I fell pregnant with Poppy, and I piled all that 4 stone back on again. It happened exactly the same again. And after having Poppy, the same happened. So I lost the 2 stone by having her, but then I was left with that 2 stone again. Back to Slimming World I went, and I think I lost about a stone this time, but that was it. It was the last, I knew I couldn't lose the last stone. I think I was around 11 stone then. I just couldn't lose that last one that I wanted to. Plus, I suffered with severe postnatal depression after having both the girls, but especially after having nothing to do with Poppy, but especially after having Poppy. So I think going to Slimming World and getting weighed and all the stress of trying to eat the right things and losing weight and having depression, it was too much. So I just left. It wasn't good for my mental health, and that was the most important thing, really. And like I said before, I comfort eat, so having depression meant that I gained more weight anyway. And I tried Weight Watchers as well. I took Poppy with me then, I remember that, to get weighed to Weight Watchers, and I lost a bit of weight there, but it just went back on again as soon as you start. That's the problem with diets. As soon as you start eating normally, like rubbish, not a lettuce leaf a day, then you pile it all back on again, and that is the problem. So then I was about a UK size 16. I worked out at jazzercise classes, I worked out at aqua aerobics every week, but I always stayed at that sort of size and that sort of weight. And so since I've had the girls, I've had 2 caesarean sections, because they were both born by caesarean. I've had many exploratory surgeries, like laparoscopies and different things going on. because I've had a lot of trouble with my womb, and that resulted in a hysterectomy. So when they did a laparoscopy, they said my insides were like spaghetti junction because of all the adhesions from the operations that I'd had. So the more operations you have, the more adhesions you have, and that's what tends to bloat my stomach out. So I constantly look like I'm around 5 or 6 months pregnant, and that's because of the adhesions going on, and also the fact that I've got severe IBS, so my stomach will bloat out if I drink or eat, or even if sometimes if I don't, it still bloats out. So my stomach's always been like that. Not so much when I was younger, but more so now I've had all the surgeries. I think that's what's done it. I do look at people and I long for a flat stomach, I long for a skinny waist, I long for all these things, but it's not happening. So in 2016, when I got diagnosed with fibro and ME, I was put on pregabalin, then I went on to gabapentin, and my weight went up by 3 stone. So I put on 3 stone after having those 2 medications. I weighed around 15 stone, which is, and I am now as well, a UK size 18. In constant pain and fatigue, and I was just so low then, so low. So the doctor put me on Orlistat, which is a drug that basically makes you poo out all the fat that you eat, and it's just literally oil that comes out of you. It is repulsive, absolutely repulsive. The first week I took it, I ended up messing myself all the time, couldn't get to the toilet, I didn't even know I was doing it, it was just coming out, it just kept coming out, it was awful. And when my body started getting used to it, then I could be more in control of it. It was still gross, but I was used to it. And after, say, a few months, I think I lost about 1 stone on it. So it definitely worked, but it was absolutely foul. It was disgusting. But then my body got used to it. My body got used to that drug. They took me off of Orlistat because my body was too used to it, and I started gaining weight again. And then that stone went back on again. So don't try tablets like that, because unless you're going to stick with it and just eat nothing, no fat at all, it's not going to work. And I did attempt Slimming World again. I wasn't losing weight, and I got so depressed going every week, I just left. And I think since I left, I haven't weighed myself since, because I don't want to know how much I weigh now. I know what size I am, but I don't want to know how much I weigh. When I go out, I scan the room for skinny people or people that are thinner than me, and glance at them and wish I was them. And that's just so sad, isn't it? Because even though they're thin or skinny, they could still have things going on in their life. They could still have, they might still have problems, and I wouldn't want them. But it's just, I'm looking at the body shape and thinking, I wish I was like that. I long for someone to say, you've lost weight, or you're looking really good, because that makes me feel really good. And I've had friends that say to me, like, well, you always look so nice. But to me, that just makes me feel like, well, you're fat, but you look nice, fat. They haven't said that, but that's how it just, I don't know. All I want them to say is you're skinny, and I'm not. So it's probably best not to say anything. Today, I have no idea what I weigh. Like I say, I've stopped weighing myself. But I know I'm a UK size 18. And I've stayed like that way for the last 2 years. I think it has crept up, the weight is creeping up a little bit, but again, I don't weigh myself, and I don't want to know, because what can I do? At the moment, I'm on nortriptyline, which I've asked the doctor, and the doctor says, no, nortriptyline does not make you gain weight. But then when you look in the research, it says amitriptyline and nortriptyline can make you gain weight. So I think what's happening is, I eat really healthy. Like this morning, all I've had to eat is gluten-free toast with no butter, just an avocado, half an avocado, and a boiled egg on top, and that's all. And it's like 3:20, and I drink a lot of water. I don't know what, you know, I mean, I've had friends that say, oh, you could try this diet, you could try that diet. I don't think it's going to make any difference, because I eat quite healthily anyway. I'm not shoving chocolate bars and crisps in my mouth. Only if I'm having a flare up, I might have a chocolate bar to make myself feel better. But I try not to, so I just don't know. I don't know. I think it's, like I say, a combination of the medication and the fact that you're not moving around as much. But like now I'm working out 4 times a week. Yes, I'm not doing it to the extent that people without these illnesses would be able to do, but I'm still moving. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to be a size 12 again and be able to wear jeans instead of jeggings and little tops to show off my waist. But that's just not realistic. That's just not going to happen. I worry constantly that Mark will go off me, or that my family looks at me and like with a sigh and thinks, oh. And I just want people to love me for who I am and not look at her and think, oh, you know, look how big she is, or look how much weight she's put on. I want people to look at me and think she's beautiful. That's what I want people to do. And I want myself to do that too. So now, which leads me to the next part, I'm going on a self-love journey. One where you look at parts of your body that you love. So example, I love my eyes. I love my wrists. I love my ankles. I quite like my boobs. Although they could be a little bit smaller, they are quite big. And concentrate on the bits that you love rather than the bits that you hate, which is hard, but I'm getting there slowly. I still look in the mirror. If I put something on, I think, oh, your stomach, and I'm trying not to look at my stomach, but it's not my fault. I can't help that. It's just through the operations and everything. I mean, I thought, like I say, the 4 workouts I do a week would help, but it hasn't. It hasn't made a difference to my weight. I even tried intermittent fasting, but so I don't eat breakfast, and I starve myself from sort of like 8 o'clock the night before through till say 1 or 2 the next day. But that hasn't done anything either, because that's supposed to burn a ton of fat. Nah, hasn't done anything. I've done that for months now. Hasn't done anything. I've tried to cut back on alcohol as well, because I tried to give it up at one point. I gave it up for a month and didn't notice a difference in my weight at all, and it actually made me feel worse, because I feel like alcohol makes me feel a bit better. It relaxes me. So I'm trying not to drink during the week now, just having a couple of glasses at the weekend. That's what I'm trying to do, because there's so many calories in alcohol. It's hard. It's hard. And I often wish that we didn't have to eat or drink, because I think if we didn't have to eat or drink, everyone would be the same size and we wouldn't need to compare ourselves to anyone. Well, we still would, I know. We'd still say, oh, I wish I had your hair, or I wish I had your eyes. And I also worry that one day when I'm not here, I've wasted so much of my time worrying and stressing over my weight and my size, and not loving my life and living my life to the full. You know, I just don't want that to happen. I want to live my life. I want to love what I do, love life, but I don't want to constantly be comparing myself to skinny people and wishing I was that person. I don't want that. I want to be me, and that's what I'm finding really hard at the moment. I don't know if any of you can relate to this. If you can, drop me a comment below, because I'd really, really appreciate it. Don't forget, fibro reduces our metabolism as well by 20%, so that's great, isn't it? Lovely. I want to end this week by saying I want you to learn to love yourself for who you are and live life to the full, because that's what I'm desperately trying to do, and I'm trying to take my own advice on that. But you can't change what people think of you, although I'd like to. So why worry about it? That's easier said than done as well, isn't it? I hope you've sort of enjoyed my weight loss story and my weight gain story. It should be weight gain story, shouldn't it? Maybe I'll retitle it. But if you can sympathise with anything that I've been talking about, or give me any advice, although preferably not diets to try, because I've tried most of them and they're just, you know, it's not working. So leave me a nice comment, definitely. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you've not done already, and I will see you all on Saturday for the weekly, and hopefully it won't be as hot as it is right now. Love you lots, bye.